Welcome to the OPTIMAI training module on worker-focused legal aspects of the project pilots. The OPTIMAI pilot activities require the engagement and participation of employees in Televes, Cleeman and Microchip in Spain, Greece and the UK respectively. These employees are the ones testing innovative new technologies in their working environment. All OPTIMAI partners, from end user to technical partner, need to collaborate to ensure that this is as comfortable a process as possible for these employees, and that their statutory rights are respected during this process and beyond. The rights and interests of the employees are enshrined in various national laws. In this training module, we will provide an overview of some overarching key legal requirements, as well as point to some national particularities. The topics we will cover include employee rights, equality rights, and health and safety requirements. Let's start with the employee and equality rights. It is very important that OPTIMAI employees are not dismissed from employment or otherwise face any adverse consequences for any unjustifiable reason arising from their participation in the OPTIMAI project, and especially so if the reason relates to their legitimate exercise of rights. An employee should not be dismissed, for example, for reporting any safety concerns they might have in relation to the tools they are testing. Participation in the OPTIMAI project also must not lead to employees working more hours than provided for in national law, or, in Greece in particular, not disrupt any existing work from home arrangements that the worker has, where practicable and reasonable. The OPTIMAI technical partners, and especially end users, must also refrain from any practices or decisions that might be discriminative in nature and disadvantage employees because of their personal characteristics. Such protected personal characteristics can differ by country, but usually include age, disability, gender, race and ethnicity, religion, and sexual orientation. Bear in mind that discrimination can be both direct and indirect. In UK law, direct discrimination is defined as occurring where a person A discriminates against another, B if because of a protected characteristic, A treats B less favourably than A treats or would treat others. In contrast, indirect discrimination occurs where a person A discriminates against another, B if A applies to B a provision, criterion or practice which is discriminatory in relation to a relevant protected characteristic of B's, and where something constitutes discriminatory if A applies or would apply it to persons with whom B does not share the characteristic. It puts or would put persons with whom B shares the characteristic at a particular disadvantage when compared with persons with whom B does not share it. It puts or would put B at that disadvantage, and A cannot show it to be a proportionate means of achieving a legitimate aim. With this in mind, OPTIMAI partners need to ensure that research activities are inclusive and nobody is excluded from participation on the basis of protected characteristics. OPTIMAI partners should also be careful to adapt OPTIMAI tools to users who may have different needs based on their personal characteristics. For example, any wearables should be compatible with religious dress, or the user interface of the augmented environment should be compatible with visual disabilities, such as colour blindness. In Greece, employers must assess the workplace for different kinds of risks that might emerge in the form of discrimination and harassment. This is known as psychosocial risk assessment. Employers must put in place mitigation measures that address the psychosocial risks identified. Next, we will cover key aspects related to health and safety. Over the course of the OPTIMAI pilot studies, employees participating in the project will be using tools such as augmented reality glasses that could impact how they interact with and navigate through the industrial environment, and will be in the presence of hardware sensors that will need to be safely and correctly installed. OPTIMAI end users and technical partners need to use all means at their disposal to ensure that health, safety and welfare of the employees and all others who could be affected by changes to their working environment. Health and safety obligations are laid out in national law in each pilot site location. In order to make an assessment of any risks that might arise from the use of new equipment and changes to work processes, OPTIMAI end user partners should consider whether it is necessary to conduct a health and safety risk assessment. Based on the results of this assessment, end user partners should identify measures to mitigate the identified risks, implement them and document them. Health surveillance should be undertaken to monitor these risks. End users should have appointed a competent person to assist them in carrying out health and safety mitigation measures and monitoring and supporting health and safety in the workplace. In Greece, law calls for the appointment of a safety technician and occupational physician to help support health and safety in the workplace. The professionals should be duly informed and consulted on changes to work processes and the working environment and can help support the safe integration of OPTIMAI tools into the workplace. It is important that OPTIMAI end users cooperate with any requests made by these health and safety professionals. All employees should be provided with information relating to any risks arising from OPTIMAI tools and any new processes, as well as information and training as necessary to help mitigate health and safety risks. If necessary, pilot site employees should be trained in the safe and responsible use of any new tools or devices they will be working with. All of this information is a snapshot of important points on worker-focused legal aspects of the project pilots. All partners and research participants can learn more in Project Deliverable 7.3, Ethics Recommendations and Regulatory Framework, which is publicly available on the OPTIMAI website. Thank you.